As above, so below, everywhere you go. This applies to the all. So that you should keep in mind throughout this whole entire video, or perhaps for the rest of your life. Because regardless of what you may feel or think about yourself, you'd be surprised in how it affects everything else around you and above you and below you. And I say this all to say because today is the day where we experiencing the Kali Yuga experience, which is one of the worst out of the four in the Wheels of Fortune. I'm thinking like, as far as like the tarot cards are concerned, but the motif is still the same. We were put under a lot of chaos and afflictions and lies during this period of time, during the time of the Kali Yuga. And as also some of you are aware, when it pertains to the split amongst this plane or this planet, whatever you want to call it, the magnetosphere is starting to be affected by that. Well, it has been affected by it over the past 2 weeks from now or so. So, as the world is starting to shift and split, these hurricanes, not I'm sorry, not hurricanes, these earthquakes, if you will, has been taking place and shifting the plates of these lands into different quadrants of this plane that we call the Earth. What we may perceive as this planet isn't what you necessarily think that it is. And I say that to say because of the magnetosphere, the strength of it is starting to decrease due to the shift in the split between the new Earth or the 5D Earth versus the 3D Earth, for example. I'll just label it those two sides that. Now we're starting to experience and see the veils being lifted completely, especially the ones that are very tapped in. So that means what we thought, for example, was part or limited to how many dimensions that there are to this particular plane. Some of us could say that, oh, we only had 99, we were only able to see 9 or 99, just an arbitrary number. Now we are starting to notice that there's other dimensions below and above ours that wasn't presently available or ably available before for a lot of people. The magnetosphere is also affected by the chakras of the planet because even this planet or this plane or whatever you want to call it, as above so below, like we have our chakras, so does this planet. So as a collective, the more that we heal or we decide to heal, the more that we decide to confront the things that weighed us down and caused us a bunch of afflictions, our magnetosphere is starting to be affected as well. So for those out there that haven't taken the opportunity to heal themselves and to take time out to release the things that they were carrying most of their lives, they're the ones that are going to experience the weight of the shift. So your shadow side may lead more than what you want people to see, or the side that you want people to see. So in other words, anything that is afflicting you that has caused your dark side to spike or show themselves, now you no longer have control of that. That shadow side is going to show its face whether you want it to or not. And certain answers may be revealed whether you want it to be revealed or not, based on your actions and your circumstances. This plane right now, chakras are starting to be aligned, and things, and there's certain places on Earth, like for example, Japan. Japan is starting to return back into its original state. And I say that because the crystals are starting to rise from the asphalts and certain other grounds and flat areas of Japan now. Because at once upon a time, this planet was covered with crystals and giant trees with auras hanging around it, and you hearing certain type of frequencies coming from it. It wasn't just limited to just grass and beautiful flowers and beautiful beings such as birds, avians, if you will, insectoids, so on and so forth. So now we're going to start to see what the real or the original Earth, that word, really looks like. And we're going to we're returning back to that slowly but surely, especially the areas in which AI has been taking over and running rapid. So as this magnetosphere is starting to decline itself, now the division itself is going to start to be more and more prevalent, more and more obvious and noticeable, especially to those that have been doing their own personalized healing and work. Whereas everybody else, they may not see it, or they might come into the conclusion that something's a little off here. Let me look into that a little further. It just depends. Depends on wherever you are in your heart space, right? I say this all to say, as the earth is healing, because we as a collective are starting to heal, the division between those who are doing the work versus who aren't, we're starting to see that in real time. So there's going to be certain things that the third dimensional earth will experience that the fifth dimensional earth won't. Here's something else to keep in mind. That does not necessarily mean that that's going to be your permanent space. So those in the third dimension that is making the conscious decision to change and shift and heal themselves, they too in time will convert onto the five-dimensional earth. And vice versa. When it comes to down to people in the 3D plane of this earth, if there's an aspect of your healing that you are having a very hard time healing from or releasing yourself from, or you haven't really done the full work with that, and there could be certain triggers and themes attached to that particular trauma that you've experienced, and you continuously have a hard time passing through that, you could actually descend to the three-dimensional earth. Keep in mind, healing is something that is continuous. It never ends. It never stops. And this is now more important than ever to do the best you can for the collective, not just yourself. Of course, when it pertains to healing and facing your own demons, if you will, or releasing any shame, embarrassment, guilt, whatever that you're carrying, that's something that is sole and independent. It is no one else's responsibility to help pull that out of you, but they could guide and assist you. That's the difference. But when it comes down to how you say building a community, building communion and community amongst a group of people, like your neighbors, for example, or your family or your friends, the ones that are also doing the work and is making sure that they are growing the necessary vegetation and minerals and essentials and necessities of this life for us to thrive and survive. That's the community. That's when the community comes in as a collective and should work together. But individually, our own personalized hell is what we need to heal from on our own. But there's nothing wrong with being guided. There's nothing wrong with someone telling you unbiasedly about your shit, because we need that, because sometimes that could catch us or keep us in the loop because we feel so justified in our own chaos, in our own drama and traumas. Now is the time for us to start now, make sure that we maintain our peace. And once we maintain our own peace and we maintain our own shadow work and we do the necessary things for ourselves, it will be much more easier to help others and to aid others and assist others as a collective. If you didn't notice, for those who haven't taken the time out to actually do the shadow work, you're creating tears to lower level beings and dimensions, and it's not going to be conducive of an experience or assimilation for yourselves. So you may experience certain type of misfortune in your life, and it may loop and repeat itself onto you until you learn that lesson and see the lady in the red dress in this case. I say this all to say, not only is your spiritual hygiene important, like doing the spirit baths and cleaning your house, cleaning your space, cleaning yourself, doing, you know what I'm saying, doing the necessary things to maintain a certain energy and frequency amongst your physical vessel and your spirit and your physical household or apartment. Also, the healing, the continuous maintenance of healing and check ins on yourself is just as important, because you can't go out there and slip and make a wrong decision and you might slide your ass into a certain particular dimension or version of this realm that isn't favorable for you. So take that message as you will. I hope that this helps. If you have any other further questions, you may reach out to me, neocosmos999 at gmail.com, or you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. Same name, Neocosmos, Neocosmos 999. So Neocosmos 999 on TikTok and for Instagram. So, just in case you guys may not be aware of what the magnetosphere looks like, you could go and Google it, and you see in between there is the poles. In between those poles is where the chakras are lie at. But of course, this is not what this plane looks like. This is not what this planet looks like. This planet is stacked. It's a stacked flat spaces with domes and other twists and turns in the midst of it. So even if a satellite was to try to take a picture of this plane or wherever we at, they're not able to see it. They're not going to be able to read it. This is a very intricate space within this particular space that we're in. So everything that we were taught was taught in reverse. You can't go to space going through the sky. You go through space underwater. You can't travel outside of your body, but you can travel inward to get to spaces and places you thought you wasn't able to. Just a little bit of things to just keep in mind. But again, if you want to know more information about that, you can reach out to me, or I could guide you to someone who could explain it a little better for you. Because at the end of the day, each one should teach one. And if the information I provided to you is now guiding you into more information for your expansion, then that's the overall objective, because it doesn't stop here. The learning should not stop here. It should start here. Ashe.